blended families can be a beautiful thing. Here at our office, we have the joy of meeting with clients who, whether the husband or the wife, have children from prior relationships, and it can be a very beautiful thing, but it also brings up some pretty unique challenges in their estate plan. Right? Very often where, if a spouse has kids from a prior relationship, they want to make sure that in their estate plan that, should they pass away first, that their children from that prior relationship receive something from them, to make sure that they leave something acknowledging or showing their kids, like, hey, I'm not going to disinherit you, because I've married somebody who's not your parent. The unique challenges go beyond just setting aside something for that child or children. It also goes into understanding the dynamics of the relationship. Willing the relationship between everybody is great, between the spouses and the children, whether they're from the marriage or outside of the marriage. The best and nicest engagements are the ones where everyone gets along, and that can affect the estate plan in a very positive way. Sometimes there's either just a very cold relationship or even a bad relationship between the children from the prior marriage and the current spouse, or the current spouse's other children, right? So, these stepbrothers and sisters, sometimes they don't get along, or they just don't know each other very well. And so a lot of decisions can and should be made about, well, how do we leave things to that next generation, and accounting for the dynamics of that relationship. Sometimes what that looks like is, the spouses, they can create a joint trust, between the two of them, accounting for some of these things. But sometimes, especially when there's either not a real relationship or a bad relationship amongst the stepchildren, to create separate trust and having some kind of postnuptial agreement or prenuptial agreement to make sure that we can create a real division, because the last thing you want to do is get two or more people who either don't have a relationship or have a bad relationship, and tying them together in a single trust where they are now financially tied together. Even if it's for a short period of time, the chances that financial tie spills over into full-blown litigation are extremely high. Unfortunately, some of the biggest cases that we handle at times deal with stepchildren, step-parents, step-brothers and sisters, because there's not only disagreements that come up, but those disagreements have a strong emotional tie, whether it be distrust of the amongst the stepchildren or the step-parent, and that strong emotional tie mixed in with some money and the death of a parent can really increase the odds that there's really some strong litigation, very costly litigation, which really typically only benefits the attorney and not so much the family. So my recommendation is, if you are in a blended family, if your spouse or you have children from prior relationships, having an estate plan that really thinks through the possibilities and the dynamics, really account for the dynamics of the family relationship, is something incredibly important that you get done, especially while you're okay. That is by far one of the most important things that you can do to make sure that when you're no longer with us or unable to manage things, that that your children, your spouse, are protected and can really reduce the chances of there being any litigation. So if you'd like to have that conversation, I would invite you to call our office at 305-359-3888. It is a confidential consultation. It could be you alone or you together with your spouse, but understanding that if it is with your spouse, the confidentiality is not there as it relates to your spouse. If I'm representing two spouses in an estate plan, the anything that's told to me by one spouse is necessarily open to the other. So if there are things that you want to discuss in confidence outside the presence of your spouse, then set up the consultation you alone, and we can proceed accordingly. So again, you can reach us at 305-359-3888. Thank you.